down 1-0 now, and the status of their best player is also up in the air. Ja Morant, soft tissue bruising in his right hand. It actually goes back to April 7th. The injury was re-aggravated, though, in Sunday's Game 1 when Morant used that hand to break his fall after committing a charge against Anthony Davis. X-rays, fortunately, were negative, but what does all of this mean for this big Game 2 tonight in Memphis, Tennessee? Let's talk about it with NBA reporter Tim McMahon, who joins us now live from Memphis. Tim, let's get right to it. The very latest on Ja Morant's right hand is what?
Yeah, he's going to be a game-time decision, according to Coach Taylor Jenkins. And the Grizzlies tend to be tight-lipped about injury status regardless of the circumstances. Certainly in a playoff game, I don't expect them to tip their hand. Ja is going to test that hand a little bit this morning. He's going to do some shooting. He's going to do some dribbling. But like you said, X-rays are negative. There's no breaks, no fractures, nothing structurally wrong. No torn tendons, no torn ligaments. This, in very large part, will come down to how much pain can Ja Morant manage in a game that is as close to a must-win for the Memphis Grizzlies as you can get, aside from an elimination situation.
Absolutely. Down 1-0 there at home, certainly a surprise. And once again, it's kind of like the honest situation. The Grizzlies right around 500 without Ja Morant, but they need him now more than ever. Tim, thank you so much for the update.
And look, this is a different situation for the Lakers, who could see two different teams tonight, depending on whether or not Ja Morant plays. With Morant, the Grizzlies win over 65% of their games and do so by over a 5-point margin. Without him, they're about a 500 basketball team with a negative overall point differential. So let's make some sense of this. Our NBA reporter Dave McMenamin joins us now live from Memphis. All right, we're still unsure if Ja Morant's going to be able to go tonight for Game 2. So how are the Lakers preparing for this game with the uncertainty of Morant's availability?
Well, one, the Lakers recognize that the Grizzlies did quite well during the regular season when Morant missed time. They were still an elite team in the Western Conference, so you still have that same level of respect for them as opponent, and also know that they're going to hit you on the glass, and that's not really about Ja Morant. And they are good at filling the lanes and running when you turn the ball over, and obviously they are better when Ja Morant's involved with that, but all the other pieces know how to fill in around Tyus Jones just as well. Now, after the Lakers practice yesterday, some of us were milling around the court, and I actually read Tim McMahon's tweet about Ja Morant's practice status, saying that he was on the court, not wearing a brace and taking shots with his left hand to a member of the Lakers. And that member said, oh, come on, he's playing.
Okay, well, we'll take his word for it, I guess, at this point. We'll obviously see it in just a couple of hours. Now, the Lakers already took Game 1 on the road, so how is Los Angeles, and this might go without saying considering it's the playoffs, but stay with me here. How is Los Angeles keeping that sense of urgency after already stealing the home court advantage from Memphis?
Yeah, the goal in coming to Memphis as the number 7 seed was just to leave with a split against the number 2 seed. They did their work early in Game 1 on Sunday, but Austin Reeves told us that really the message coming from LeBron James and Anthony Davis before they started this postseason journey, after they made it into the playoffs by winning that play-in game and that first address from AD and LeBron, it was all about, we've been dialed in desperation mode for 2 months now, but everything has to ratchet up more. The intensity has to get even higher, and so they want to try to stay in that same mode of not feeling comfortable at all in between Sunday's Game 1 and Wednesday's Game 2. It's a long time to put yourself in that type of mode, but certainly they reminded themselves about it yesterday at practice, and they want to come out tonight and make it 2-0. Go back to L.A. With a chance to really put a stranglehold on this series.
Yeah, no doubt. And hey, if Ja is playing, which it sounds like the players believe he is, then maybe there's no advantage in that way. So going back to L.A., obviously, with the 2-0 lead would be huge. Dave, thanks so much. We appreciate the insight.
How about this one? Golden State, we have a
without pay for stomping on the Kings' Domantas Sabonis. The NBA said the punishment for Green's Game 2 behavior was based in part on Green's history of unsportsmanlike acts. He will serve the suspension for Thursday's Game 3. The Kings and Sabonis said Sabonis has a sternum contusion from the incident and is questionable for Game 3. Now, the Warriors are going to miss Draymond's presence on both sides of the court, especially offensively, where they're 9 points per game worse without him. Here's Woj earlier on Get Up.
Certainly the Warriors, one word, livid. And they were certainly didn't agree with the one-game suspension. I think they were surprised at it. No question about that. They certainly went through this in the finals with Cleveland losing Draymond Green for a game. in 2016, but they're going to have to live with it. Appeals don't really, there's really nowhere to go with an appeal in these situations.
Well, thank you kindly. Stephen A., were you surprised Dre was suspended?
I was not surprised at all, but incredibly disappointed. Let me say this.
In him or the NBA?
The NBA.
Okay.
I'm disappointed in the NBA. Love me some Adam Silver, and we all know this. I'm disgusted with the NBA this morning. I'm sick and tired of everybody acting like this is just another game. It's not just another game. It's a playoff game. You got to do something far more flagrant than this to be suspended. Now, just for the record, I was on the phone with the league office this morning. Their position is clear. It was the excessiveness of the stomp, how demonstrative it was by Draymond Green, and it was also history. They took those two things into consideration. We all know this, just so now, because I got some notes here, guys. Obviously, he was suspended for the one game in the 2016 NBA Finals. We all get all of that. That's how the Cleveland Cavaliers won the damn series. They'd have lost that series in 5 games, but that's a different subject for another day. Draymond now has been called for 6 flagrant fouls and 27 technical fouls in 147 career playoff games. The fines that he has paid on top, in addition to his 3 suspensions, he's had to pay $1.26 million in fines. We understand that Draymond Green has a history. I'll get into that in a second. What I'm saying to the National Basketball Association is, we understand the investigators go, they interview Draymond Green, they interview Sabonis, they come back to the league office, they give them the information, and then Joe Dumars supposedly is the one that's making the decision. I don't want to hear that. This has Adam Silver's in on this too. And that's fine. You're the commissioner. My issue is, you see what Sabonis has done. He's not some innocent bystander in all of this. Context, which I'll leave it to JJ to provide, definitely needs to be taken into consideration here. And then you got to take into consideration the fact it's the damn playoffs. And considering how great Sacramento has looked in this series and how great they have looked all season, for us to be sitting here talking about this and potentially how this will seal Golden State's fate is a damn shame. And I think it's the NBA acquiescing and capitulating to a lot of the public noise out there on too many damn occasions that influences decisions like this, which I think is atrocious. There's no reason for Draymond Green to be suspended for this game. I'm not surprised. I expected it. And in that regard, that's where I hold Draymond Green accountable, because if I know what the league is going to do, he damn sure knew it, which means you have to guard yourself and protect yourself, because when all is said and done, somebody might be looking at Draymond Green again and saying, you didn't know better? This is the second time you cost the Golden State Warriors a championship in some people's eyes. And he's going to have to live with that.
Well, first off, I was shocked that they suspended him a game, and I don't like to defend him at all. And he's put himself in all these situations over the years. Of course, we all know about that one series. But in this case, he should not have been suspended. I mean, you got to be kidding me. I mean, and the stop wasn't even that big a deal, and Sabonis got the whole thing started to begin with. Plus, Sabonis in the first half is making it sound like he got hit by a Joe Louis right hand with this dopey jaw. Oh,
by the way, for those who don't know, Joe Louis was the heavyweight champion of the world in the 1940s. Some people might not know.
Joe Louis, he's the greatest heavyweight of all time.
Some people might not know that.
I know Joe Louis.
Okay.
Come on.
Some people might not know
who Joe Louis is.
Some people might not know it. I'm just
we know who he is.
Okay.
But
He has a sternum contusion.
Oh, nonsense. He's nothing wrong with him. I mean, geez, play the game.
He's questionable for tonight.
Not questionable. You know he's playing. My God, it's tomorrow night. He's playing the game.
Just reading the injury report. I'm just reading the injury report.
The NBA, that's a joke, and I don't like to defend him. I have no choice. He should not have been suspended. This is ridiculous. Now, I disagree with you on one thing. I think Golden State's winning the next 2 gaams. I think this is a 7-game series. I think they're going to go out there tomorrow night. That building is tricky. First road game for this Sacramento team to play in playoffs in this scenario. I think Golden State's winning the next 2 games. I don't know if they're going to win a series. I think it's going 7 games. I think Golden State's going to overcome this Draymond thing. They didn't do it the one time. They're going to do it this time. They'll win the next 2. But I'm with you on your overall theme. I'll let you scream about the NBA more than I can. I am shocked that he was suspended for this 3rd game.
I'm going to test Stephen A. here. Stephen A., when we talked about this yesterday, what did I say about this? Do you remember?
You did say that you did not believe he deserved to be suspended, but you wouldn't be surprised
And why?
if he was.
And why? Do you remember why?
Because history.
Because of his history.
Right.
All right. Just making sure.
I do
making
listen.
sure. So I'm not surprised
listen,
that this
Elvis.
happened.
Right.
I'm not surprised that this happened.
Okay.
However, I completely disagree with this. He should not have been suspended. They spent 2 games trying to bait him. Sabonis over and over.